into a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're on pan. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Welcome to the Legacy News, episode 34. If you look at me, I am the media now. And we got some strange days ahead. Because I think they're coming after the bees. I really do think they're coming after the bees. I am the legacy of Jennifer Ant Kaiser. I'm Zachary Kaiser. And a word of advice: it's time to go back to the earth. It's time to live a natural life. It's time to find the grace of God within you. With that, before I blackpill everybody, welcome in.
Hey
Andrew
guys,
Joseph.
what's going on? I got this powdered beer from like a Japanese gift box, and I'm drunk. Are you ready to talk about the news? Just kidding. What's going on, guys?
He's a alcoholic now. So let's talk about the news. Let's talk about the news. Andrew is evidently drunk.
I took a sip. Just one. I don't have a problem.
It's 5 p.m. somewhere. By the time this releases on Monday, February 24th, it will be 5 p.m. So go ahead, man. Embrace it. Enjoy life. You only live
That's where I
once,
find
right?
shame.
YOLO. YOLO. You only live once, as the commies say.
Hey, speaking of comedies, we got a podcast debate that we're going to be doing soon, so I'm looking forward to that.
Are we?
Yeah.
I think that was just a Twitter spiel, and
Oh,
that ain't happening. They didn't
damn.
answer.
Okay. Well, I better
Yeah, of
start
course
getting
they're not
drunk
going to
again.
answer.
I
Of
don't
course
have
they're
any,
not
I
going
don't
to
have
answer,
anything.
man.
I don't have anything
Why
else to
would
look
they?
forward to in life.
Yeah, well, get drunk. But yeah, of course they wouldn't answer. I mean, the guy called out to say that Tim and everybody that was arguing with him were a bunch of pussies. And so I decided to interject your name and tag you, and in hopes that maybe I'd get some interaction. But evidently, he got called out, so he just got quiet on the issue. So ain't no commie gonna want to actually, dude. They deserve free rides. They'll take the free ride before
One
they
of
actually
these
debate.
nights.
We just got struck on that one.
Yeah, right. It's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they will. They'll take the free rides that inevitably leads to their death before
mean,
they actually debate
They're,
their own
they're spending
concept. And what's
someone.
funny,
They're
what's
spending
funny,
someone
Andrew?
else's. They're spending someone else's helicopter fuel, so
Yeah.
they're getting
Well, what
socialism.
what yeah, what's funny about that thread? I don't know if you actually read it, but the spiel with Tim and this communist, they were arguing about the billionaire class of China, and the guy was going
Same.
again. Effectively, the guy was saying, "Well, they're billionaires and they're privately owned, but the state is the government of the proletariat, so the state actually controls everything." It's like that's not communism, dude. That's fascism.
Corporate
And Tim
socialism.
was, I mean, literally like, and I think I joined up when I read the thread, and I threw out like, "Hey man, you should probably read the Communist Manifesto if you're going to be a communist, because
Right.
you're arguing against what Marx and Engels actually says, what communism defines communism. Communism in itself is the collective ownership of the proletariat, the workers. It's the worker revolution uh, of the means of production. So if the
See,
state controls the means of production with private actors partnered, that's not communism.
this
It's
is what happens when
socialism.
I. This is what happens when I consume alcohol. I get Zach on a tirade. We spend the entire half hour talking about a Twitter spat.
Exactly. But let's not jump into Twitter's not real life, everybody. X, Twitter, whatever. It's not real life. It's hilarious. It's great entertainment, especially when you're at work and working security while you're trying to get your real estate license. You get bored,
Right.
you procrastinate. You start procrastinating. You're supposed to do this course
Move,
and you're almost finished,
you-
and then you procrastinate
moving
and
up
get
the
on Twitter,
card,
and then
man. Moving up the card.
so
Security officer, no
but yeah.
more.
But with that, speaking of commies or dystopians, as our boy Mike would like to prefer to call them, because that's what they are. They're not really commies, because I just laid out the definition of communism for you. They're statists. They're
Com
dystopian. I
communism.
have a communism. So, but I have a video from off grid with Doug and Stacy. Great YouTube, actually. By the way, great account. Great. I would implore you to subscribe because you get it cram packed of a lot of information. One such would be to utilize the natural resources that the earth gives us, that God gives us. So, but another thing is Doug is the type that likes to go into conspiracy mind. He's the tinfoil hat guy, and he gives you some news. Remember, independent media, man. The legacy media is an old fossil, finally dying. They've killed themselves. They've unallied themselves. YouTube, when we put this up on Friday.
Uninstalled.
Yeah. So, but we are the media now. The people need to be the media, and we need to get this out. And so I have a video. It's about 13 minutes. He'll probably go into his own little tangent because he's a whimsical old man. It's funny. But let's dive into it. Unless you have anything else to say, Andrew.
No, I'll reserve comment for after the video. I had something in mind, but it slipped my mind. That's what happens to get drunk.
You're not drunk, man. You're not drunk.
Is that a
But
challenge?
but anyways, they're coming for the bees, and if they get the bees, we're probably fucked, honestly. But let's jump into it. Oh, that I actually like that with us at the
It
bottom.
is very kind of cool.
That is pretty cool.
Something happening here. And what it is very clear. But some people still don't understand. I'm going to get right into it. I came across this today, literally just hot off the presses. I want to share it with you guys. And I just want to keep letting you guys know that, you know, there's a plan happening here and it's going forward every single day. So what are you talking about today, Doug? Well, today I'm out here in the pasture with the sheep, and this is also where I keep a beehive right here. We have several on the property. We have some of the most watched bee videos on YouTube today. So if you want to check that out, I'll have it in a pinned comment underneath this video, and you can watch my whole playlist with Dr. Leo from horizontalhive.com, who teaches you how to keep bees organically, right? Naturally, the way the Most High made them. I'm also out here with the sheep because today's a beautiful, fabulous day. The bees are taking some maiden voyages, if you will, cleaning up after this long cold spell of winter. This is the first warmest day they could ever get out, pushing a lot of the dead bees out of the hive. But then I ran across this story today, and I just want you guys to be aware of this information so you can share it and so you can see there's something going on. All right, I ran across this ad today. It says for a limited time only, get $10 off vaccinated packages of bee orders when you use the code HIVE. When was the last time you heard of getting rebates and money and donuts if you participate?
As the push to get everybody vaccinated continues, some companies, well, they're taking a unique approach to it.
Yes, offering a little incentive. Did someone say freebies? Jason Carr joins us with what Budweiser is giving away as a vaccine incentive.
It's an unlikely combo, but one that seems to be encouraging people to get vaccinated. Budweiser is the latest brand to raise awareness by offering free beer while also debuting its new commercial called Reunited with Buds. Sam Adams is giving the first 10,000 people who post evidence that they've been vaccinated to Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag #ShotForSam. Well, they will be awarded $7 through Cash App, just enough for a beer. And Krispy Kreme is offering free donuts for a year. Just show your vaccine card each time, once per day, at the store or the drive-thru.
Protect your local brewed in 2025 with vaccinated package of bees from Mann Lakes. Vaccinated bees are a new method in disease prevention from Dalen Animal Health that allows eggs to begin building up immunity before they hatch. Y'all, humanity is in a fight of their life right now. And I'm not sure many people are picking up what I'm putting down, but I've said this before, but for some reason, they're out to get this mRNA technology in every being, every living being on planet Earth via sprays. If you notice behind me, they're back at it. So that didn't work. USAID didn't take them out. And they're putting it in shots. And we've highlighted it on the channel before about it being in lettuce, the food system. I just did a video just a couple days ago about now they're going to do the chickens, and that'll be in the eggs. Okay. So I want you to do your homework because I'm not going to tell you what to think. I've done my homework and I know why. That they want to have mRNA technology in every living being on the planet. Now let's take a ride over to the biotechnology website and see what they have to say about it. Bee vaccine generates buzz. October 30th, 2023. This is how fresh this is. Biomember Dalen Animal Health's honeybee vaccine is generating buzz. Biomember Dalen Animal Health's vaccine against American foul brood among the greatest threats of honeybees. And I would say that humans are the greatest threat to honeybees between their GMO sprayed crops. Okay, and all this other stuff they're putting into the environment with their plastics. Okay, I would say that was a higher threat than American foul brood, right? Among the greatest threats to honeybees, and therefore our food is one of the time's best innovations of 2023. Because that's why we promote natural beekeeping here on our channel. If you didn't know, myself and Dr. Leo have produced some of the most watched videos on beekeeping here on YouTube. I'll leave a link down in the first comment under this video so you can watch it and educate yourself on how you can get bees not from the man. Okay, because that's what we're going to have to turn to, I think, coming up, is we're going to have to get our farm and our farm animals and everything not from the man. You can't go to Tractor Supply and you can't get your honeybees online and order them and stuff, because they're all going to come compromised. The first ever vaccine approved for honeybees is put in queen candy eaten by worker bees who feed the queen bee. Her offspring then have greater immunity to American foul brood. Why did bee vaccines take so long? Because science only recently discovered that bees have an immune system. Daelin's CEO Annette Kleiser said on a recent episode of the I Am Bio podcast. What else does biotech do for bees? Bio member Greenlight Biosciences, using mRNA technology for human and animal treatment, is developing a vaccine to fight varroa mites and other enemy of the bees. Bio's podcast explained. 1 out of 3 bites of food you take is because of a pollinator. Let that sink in for a second. Just want you guys to realize, anytime they talk about mRNA, they talk about it as a technology. Okay, it would do you, it would you should do yourself a favor and educate yourself on what is actually going on.
Well, a warm welcome to this talk. Now, I just wanted to play you a couple of short clips from 2 doctors that have kind of fallen between the cracks, really, because these really show local democracy in action. Now, in Montana, there's a bill, HB 371, and this is a bill to ban gene-based vaccines throughout the states. And Christine Drivdahl-Smith is a local physician who spoke in favor of this, talking about the COVID vaccines, the RSV vaccine for the elderly, that are mRNA based, and concern about the dozens that are in development. Let's listen to Dr. Drivdahl-Smith now. It's only about 4 minutes. Give her the time to explain herself, which she does very clearly.
My name is Christine Drivdahl-Smith, DRIVDAHL-SMITH. I am a family physician in Miles City. I have no conflict of interest. I am a volunteer board member of the Montana Medical Freedom Alliance. Gene-based vaccines, or mRNA vaccines, are the most destructive and lethal medical products that have ever been used in human history. I'm asking you to support this bill banning gene-based vaccines so that we can halt continued harm, disability, and death of our citizens. Gene-based vaccines include the COVID-19 shots, and there is one other RSV shot that was approved for this past year for older adults. There are ongoing trials for influenza and bird flu, and there are dozens more in development. The COVID shots were rolled out just over 4 years ago under Emergency Use Authorization, or EUA. This has been renewed multiple times. The last renewal was in December of 2024 and extended the EUA until 2029, which also extends the liability protections. Under EUA, the FDA may allow use of unapproved medical products, including experimental products. Further, the regulatory procedures do not apply to the EUA products, which explains why the FDA has not withdrawn these dangerous vaccines.
Hold on, I'm editing this video and I found that clip and I wanted to bring it to your attention. But if you notice what she just said that the Biden administration in the midnight hours on December 2024 extended the Emergency Act program so they could flood the market with all these mRNA technology vaccines and no one would care. And now, did you catch it in the B video or in the B part, right? They said, why did it take so long? Holy cow, now I just put it together because they're releasing it now because they're going to have immunity. Am I just making this up? Did you guys just catch that? Leave it in the comments. All I can tell you guys is our own personal story, that when I was buying bees, doing it the standard way, I never really introduced any pharma to my bees. Some of the guys do the treatments and stuff. I never really did that. But the bees never really made it. You know, like every year you would lose some, if not all of your bees. But ever since I've been catching swarms, you know, local, resilient swarms, kind of like heirloom bees, we have had very strong hives. I've been able to split those hives. And it's done very well for us. Okay, so please use the link down below to watch some of the videos on taking care of bees. Also, be aware that anything that you guys buy in the springtime right now, you want to be aware if they are, you know, getting the poke. And if they are, you might not want to get those. And maybe if enough people shy away from that stuff, well, they'll adjust their practices, because that's usually how it works. All right, so share this video with your friends. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you're having a great, fabulous, sunshiny day. And if not, one is coming your way. All right. See you on the next one.
Kill bees, Laszlo.
Look
God,
at
who
those.
got this
Look
guy a
at those.
green card?
Look at those adorable lambs. Look at those adorable lambs.
Right? You know what our
And
podcast is? I'm sorry. I just had to say this because I'm thinking about it. Remember the original Grand Theft Auto 3? They had that Squawk Box TV, radio program or whatever. That's what our podcast is.
We're the Squawk Box.
Yeah.
Was
Where they
that on
talk about
BC?
absolute. No, that was Vice City. BCPR is
yeah.
Vice City. Squawk
That's
Box
right.
or whatever it was called was on Grand Theft Auto 3.
3, yeah.
So
Go on.
kill the bees, Laszlo. God, who got this guy a green card? You learned the language pretty good. Oh, well, thank you. Freddie is a nanny. But he's been a bad boy.
Laszlo actually ended up having a cameo appearance in a full-on.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil. I haven't played 5 yet.
Oh,
I'm like 20
you need to
years
play
behind.
5.
I've
You're
got like
20
3
years
copies of the
behind,
game.
and GTA 6 just came out.
It's about to come out.
Well, about to come out. Excuse me. It'll probably get extended again.
Well,
And
that's the
again.
reason why I waited. It's because I
Yeah.
wanted to play it right at the time that 6 came out. That way, I'd have something to play afterwards.
Will do. Well, before we get on a tangent about Grand Theft Auto, which
Let's
I know
get back
that's
to the video.
Yeah, let's get back to the video. What do you think of what he said and the clips?
Well, I
that
mean, he
used?
made that would definitely play into their hand, and it said they released it right there at the end of the year, and then they retroactive or they proactively gave themselves forgiveness through those executive orders, and they have been talking about trying to integrate it into the food supply for a while because people need to be vaccinated.
Whose narrative has who in this narrative has been the biggest proponent for putting vaccinations into the food supply?
Well, I mean, this was originally a Donald Trump thing, and then Joe Biden took over, and now Donald Trump's back in office, Donald Trump's back in office. Nobody's paying attention. Everyone's
Ignore
here
the
to party.
ignore the political. Ignore the political. Ignore the politicians. We know Donald Trump is a Democrat. Joe Biden is basically Donald Trump 2.0 expanded because Joe Biden has been in office for almost 40 years. Now he's finally retired. He's done. Yeah, he got his name finally on the plaque as being president. But ignore the politics. Ignore the politicians. Who is the biggest proponent of supplying the food supply, controlling it through the means of medical tyranny? Starts with a B.
Starts with a B. Barney Sanders.
I said no politicians, man. Bill Gates. Bill Gates has been talking about this for like the last decade, actually 2 decades, honestly. Bill Gates has been a big proponent, specifically when it comes to his foundation, of utilizing the vaccine initiatives and the food supply into gaining access to people that are a little vaccine hesitant. We have to
Actually,
save humanity.
if
When
you
in
draw back to
reality,
before Bill Gates was ahead of Microsoft and all that, his dad was a eugenicist, if I remember correctly.
yes, yes, it goes full circle. I mean, it really does. From every element of politics in today, every facet that they're into, every industry that people get. I mean, people don't realize this. Like Bill Gates was the head of Microsoft. Great, cool. But his father was a eugenicist. I mean, do people not realize
Well,
this?
they see Gates and they think that he was the first, major player because he's the head of Microsoft. It's one of the biggest, computer
Hmm.
companies in the world, right? At
Hmm.
least that's
Yeah.
the common perception.
Well,
Some
that's just
Microsoft ones.
that's the psyche, the cognitive dissonance of today, right? Most people fail to put two and two together. I mean, we all know, and and it's all starting to come out. And we're gonna get canceled on this one probably. But Oprah Winfrey is one of the biggest proponents of child sex trafficking.
I've heard that too.
That nobody would know that because Oprah Winfrey has built a platform, but yet she's the biggest proponent to child sex trafficking. The woman
She
that on her platform that talked and gloated about, "We need to help the kids, we need to save the kids," is the one harming the children.
built an empire off suffering from her own pain, and then she launched it into a career to cause pain to other people.
Yeah, and then we all laugh, we all get a laugh. It's humorous to see Kanye go schizo on X, and go on his little tirade, his little bipolar tirade, but he's actually not wrong when he goes into his tirades.
I mean, I I wish I would have thought about. I wish I would have known. I got a Kanye West video. It's pretty funny. I'll try to pull it up for Friday.
We'll definitely have to play that. Yeah, Kanye is a trip. But I mean, back to the video though. What are they doing to the beast? Because one thing, and
Well,
I'm gonna add, the bee populations have been dwindling for probably the last 20, 30 years. And they've just now started to kind of repopulate a little bit. But it seems that like maybe 20 years ago, they wanted to get rid of the bees, probably for man-made, GMO related uh, uh,
that is something I remember hearing
growth.
on Coast to Coast AM several years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Art Bell broke it back in like the 80s, really 80s, 90s. But they've been trying to get rid of the bees. Now the bees have gradually started making a comeback. So what's the next step to control the nation's food supply and to
Well, I mean,
control
they
to
are
basically
a
social
foundational,
engineer?
building block for the food supply, and they, if you get rid of the bees, naturally or unnaturally, you're gonna have to have something to replace it with. And
Hmm.
we've heard about this strategy before, right?
Yeah.
It's 2 points. Everyone's arguing. You already had the solution ahead in advance.
Yeah. And when it comes to it makes you wonder. Put your conspiracy hat on, everybody. Um, the idea of these mRNA vaccinations, this isn't new. They've been in the works since at least the early 2000s. Um, COVID, such as like the first the first coronavirus, major coronavirus strand, SARS-CoV-1 in 2004, really pushed the scenario to expand upon the element of the hypothesis of what mRNA can do. It makes you wonder when it comes to the first 4 years of this decade, and predominantly the second and the third year leading into the 2020 fiasco with COVID, and the roundup towards these giggles
Or poor
roundup.
choice of words.
Poor choice. The round, but the fulfillment of the mRNA vaccination rollout, it makes you wonder, hey, maybe there's another element to this. Maybe the COVID idea, the COVID experiment was just that, an experiment to see if they can get what can they get away with. And they got away with quite a lot. So now
It's called a
how can
pressure
we
test.
Yep.
It's you see what you can do and how far you can push people and what they'll let you do in the general population. Because not everyone's as docile as everybody else.
Not everybody falls in line with the narrative of the cognitive dissonance that our government is here to protect us. The pharmaceutical lobby is the positivity of a nation's medical regime. That Western medicine is a fantastic asset. And I'm not going to disagree. We've come a long way with our medical and technological evolution. So I'm not going to disagree. I think Western medicine has done a fair share in expressing the longevity. What did I say? Longevity
Longe-
of human lifespan. I think
He said
there has been a benefit, but there's also cons. There's always a con to a pro. And with
the
that,
term is
you
trade
also
off.
exactly trade-off. And with that, you do have to look into the history of the medical tyranny that is expanding today. And you have to go further into the eugenics movement that was very inspiring post Darwin's, I guess, inclination towards the evolutionary theory. It expanded off of natural selection, Darwin's theory of evolution, and evil people sparked that, and they took it and advanced it into a philosophy of terror and murder because they want to social engineer, they want to control. You have people out there that want to they've supplanted themselves at such a high degree of influence and power that they want to retain that power, and the only way to do that is to control populations, manipulate them into a vast network of vassals. We really are in a fight between the old world order of aristocratic feudalism and the modern take of classical liberal enlightenment freedom. And there is a negative in between that both. I think the Enlightenment era certainly opened eyes, but pushed forth towards this embarrassing element that we need to forget our humanity by expressing our humanity, right? And the aristocracy of old want to hang on to the old world and bring it into the new world. At least that's my perspective of the whole ordeal.
Well, you got to remember too, everything that they change has long-term effects that they're reacting to. So what we're experiencing now isn't anything like what was a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah. And the greatest test of them all, I think, for the eugenicists was the 1917 to 1922 And yes, it lasted for that long. The peak of it was around 1917 and 1919, but the Spanish flu. And that ended up turning the world into a mass surveillance state. I mean, if you look into 2020 and go back to the past of the Spanish flu, they effectively used the same mechanisms that they did now in order to control and contain a populace through fear.
You mean they didn't bring out the
problem-
flapper?
They didn't bring out the flapper.
Back the flapper.
Oh, back to flap. What? Explain.
That's like a dance move.
Oh, the
From the
dance
20s.
20, the flapper. Yeah, they didn't bring back the flapper. They are they. I mean, we do have the twerk.
Oh,
Different eras, man.
I'll
They
pass.
had the flapper. We had they had the flapper. We have the twerk. I would prefer the flapper, honestly. I think women were a little bit more attractive back then. The twerk just makes you look like a whore.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was
We got
supposed to say
canceled.
that, but I don't really care. They really social decadence is a very real thing, and they're playing off that social decadence to invade your food supply and your medicine and your livelihood, and they're effectively trying to unalive you. If you don't work
always
for
the same
them,
playbook. They have
Mhm.
3, pressure tests. One lawsuit goes against one, and they have 2 more lined up for after. And everybody's worried about the 2 new ones, and they just skip the other original 2 alternatives.
Also, just so you know, everybody, Monsanto doesn't necessarily exist, but Monsanto still exists on the patent records. And Monsanto was bought by one of the largest pharmaceutical corporations, I think about 2013 or 2014 in the world. It's a German company known as Bayer. Bayer owns Monsanto. Monsanto owns the patents to many of your seeds, controls the GMO influx of farming necessities, food growing, and a pharmaceutical company owns Monsanto. So there you go. Follow the paper trail, follow the patent trail, follow the conversion trail, follow the subsidy. The pharmaceutical companies are not there for your personal needs and your protection and your health. They want you sick, they want you suffering, and eventually they want you dead.
I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
So there we go. A lot of people ignore Bayer, man. It's all Pfizer, Pfizer, Pfizer. But you know what? Bayer owns Monsanto.
Is it Bayer or Bayer?
It's Bayer. Yeah, no, it's spelled Bayer, but it's actually pronounced Bayer. It's a German company. Ooh,
We're not supposed to
interesting.
talk about that.
It's a German
Damn
company,
French.
everybody. Dirty French. Yeah, it's a German company. Bayer is a German pharmaceutical company, just so you know. So before we go on a tangent there, and I start speaking in German and doing some certain sign language that will definitely get us removed from all platforms. Let's go ahead and end this, Andrew. Anything else to say about the bees?
Not about the bees, no.
How
The
about the
filthy
birds?
French.
How about the birds? No birds in
They're
the
not
bees?
real. They're not real.
The birds are just CIA drones.
Man, I got a video. I could have. Let's play it.
Oh,
Let's play it. Let's play this out. Come on, it's funny.
Hey,
Hold on
nope,
just a
nope,
second.
nope. Keep them guessing. Keep them guessing.
I swear
Keep 'em
it's
guessing.
funny.
Keep them guessing.
It's
Keep 'em
German
guessing.
versus French.
Hey, keep them guessing, man. Cliffhanger.
guys.
Cliffhanger alert. Andrew has a video. Tune in next time. Maybe we get it to the next episode. Maybe it's 2 weeks from now, but it's gonna be hilarious. And but I want to keep y'all guessing on what his video is. So with that, like, subscribe, join the conversation, drop a comment when this does go on YouTube. Join the chat, and he's just gonna play it anyways. You know what? Screw it. I'm done. Play it.
Try a comfort hoodie, you can't go back to regular hoodies. They're slightly weighted, super oversized. It's
Immanuel Kant created an unsustainable metaphysical framework in order to endorse an objectively existing morality. A metaphysical framework that's wasting your money. Friedrich Nietzsche says that we shouldn't have any objectively existing morality at all, making us like the cowardly French. Soren Kierkegaard endorses an attainable objective morality, one that is apprehended through effort-saving, clean-burning, existential experience. When faced with a tired, deontological system of ethics like Kant's, and a wild, untested will to power like Nietzsche's, don't you deserve a real alternative? Soren Kierkegaard. He will teleologically suspend Kant. He will call Nietzsche to task for stealing his ideas on non-cognitive metaethics. Soren Kierkegaard. Danish.
Paid for by those who experience a true state of resignation with regard to Kierkegaard's winning the election and through teleological suspension overcome that state.
With that, everybody, live long
Danish.
and prosper.
That's damn cowardly
And peace.
French. Bye, guys.
Peace out, y'all.